Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an exclusive virtual interview on Zoom. DJ Tyler B, BMasterRadio.com, airwaves of the beat. As we have a special guest here with us today. She is what I call the legendary one. She goes by the name of the one, the only Brenda K Starr. So we're going to get her on right now. Just let her know that we have a legend coming in. Love in the background, connecting to the audio. So good to have this wonderful artist with us here today. Brenda K Starr is here with Tyler B, BMasterRadio.com. There's my man, Chris. Chris, can you hear us loud and clear?
Yo.
What's up, man? You hear me good?
You hear me?
Oh, I hear you good. Do you hear me?
I hear you perfect.
I had to play a little bit of the background of picking up the pieces as an introduction for her.
I got you. I'm gonna go right now.
Beautiful, man. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. So excited.
Good, buddy. Great.
Awesome, man. Live from the Star Residency. Love that, man. Looking good. She's right. You know, I think she's going to do like the way she does at a performance, guys, at a concert. Like she's going to come down the stairs. She's going to give you the wonderful introduction as we have the background of her hit single, Pick Up the Pieces. Oh, guys, you're ready in for a treat. Brenda K Starr is going to be giving us a great interview. We're going to go through the whole history of her as a musician through the 80s into today. Lots of exclusive things to talk about. And here she comes. So excited to see her. You wonderful Brenda K Starr. How are you, sweetheart?
Hi.
How is everything? So good to have you with us today.
Thank you.
I was playing Picking Up the Pieces in the background, the introduction. Like I wanted to do the whole beat because just to get the good like vibe, the good energy for everybody here.
Sorry, I'm not overly dressed, but I was doing a little workout and just sorry.
That's all good. Listen, hey, on a Thursday afternoon, you got to get that workout in 100%. You're looking great. You're looking wonderful. It's been such a long time since I have seen you. I mean, I met you years ago. If you remember, I believe, I don't know if it was your daughter or it was someone's Sweet 16. I remember I was in the Bronx with a good friend of mine, Gary Casper. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it my daughter's Sweet 16? It probably, did you do it? It was in Freehold, New Jersey.
Yes, Freehold, New Jersey. I think we did it in one of the buildings. I think it was like a party room or something.
Oh, that was my niece's birthday.
That was your niece's birthday. Yeah, I did DJing with Gary Cash. I mean, I was like, oh my God. It felt like yesterday when I was like talking about things about you and everything. And I was like, wow. I was like, we did that CC like maybe over 10 years ago.
Yes.
That's when I first met you. And, you know, right from there, I was like, you know, the connection was there, the vibe was there. So, but all to you, how's everything going? How you been doing during the pandemic and everything?
I mean, everything is good. I mean, I'm sad with the fact that we're not able to perform. I miss it, and I'm excited that things are starting to reopen. But in the interim of it, it was kind of a good offset because it gave us more time for me and my children to spend more quality time together and know the essence of how important family is. And just staying home and cooking meals every day and hanging out in the kitchen doing baking with my younger daughter and my older daughter coming over with the grandkids and my son getting to spend some time because he loves to cook and just really just a lot of stuff like movie time. And it really made me realize like how busy and how hectic my life really was before the pandemic. And I think it really just made me realize like, you know what, things happen for a purpose and a reason. And it really gave me enough time to just spend a whole year with just my family and know just like how short life is and how many people we can lose at a spur of the moment. So for me, it was just, it was a little difficult, but then again, it was a blessing in disguise because it just was a lot of quality time that I really needed to commit to my kids.
You know, that's what's all about. The same here. Families is first in my book. I mean, I got a chance to be more with my parents, more with my cousin. I saw some people in between during pandemic. I did, you know, but not as much as I wanted it to be, you know, small gatherings, all that. And, you know, even now that things are booming up, you know, I also have, you know, my own DJ business as well. And, you know, I'm getting out there doing parties step by step. Weddings are coming around. People are starting to open up in the venues. And yes, you know, step by step, we are getting back to where we want to be. We're not firmly there yet, but, you know, the one thing that has been good about pandemic, I feel, and you're going to agree with me on this, is that the music, like gave the opportunity for us to work on music, to get music out there. And I know what you've been doing. And I've been so inspired by you, by how you still have been keeping the vibes of your music from before and now. So, you know, kudos to you, Brenda. I love those sunglasses, by the way, looking fine.
Thank you. I'm hiding my eyes because I had no rest. Moved over a town over next to us because we just bought a house on the water.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
On the interim of that, I've been doing my physical therapy because I had a hip replacement. I had a knee replacement. I've been going through a lot. I have a thing called RSD, which is a rare disease. So for me, I've been really like working on physical therapy. So I was running around, but yesterday was a hectic day. So I didn't go to bed till super late, like maybe 3:30, 4 in the morning. And that's not my nature. I like to get to bed early. But yeah, but thank you. These glasses were actually bought for my husband for Valentine's like 2 years ago. So I love them.
Well, Chris is the best. I mean, shout out to him for making this happen. I mean, he's so easygoing to work with. Like, he hits me on the emails right away, responds right away with everything. So,
very
you know,
and very my career. Really great guy to work with. I love him dearly.
Absolutely. He's been by your side. He's doing great. So, yeah. So, you know, the one thing I wanted to get into to start things off is that, you know, you got your own label now, Star Records. That's amazing. I mean, how does that feel for you? I mean, basically, you know, you get to do your own thing now, you know, produce your own music, get your own music out there. So, I mean, I think that's been such a great thing. I mean, from all of the years you've been working in the music industry, you know, you well deserved by you. It's a great thing. But, you know, working back in the early 1980s, I mean, I've been following you since I first became a DJ when I was like 16 years old, you know, from your hit single, I Still Believe, you know, and then, you know, going back to your, you know, your movies. I mean, you were an actor, you know, you're an actress. You're basically in the movie scene. I mean, Harry Belafonte. I mean, you know, go into that. Like, how is it working for that guy? I mean, basically, you know, Beach Street, the big hip hop film, 1984. You know, give us a little rundown how good it was working for him.
Well, it was amazing. I mean, I was always a very outgoing kid. I did my first movie when I was like 10 years old. I did a movie called Slow Dancing in the Big City with John G. Avildsen, who produced Rocky with Sylvester Stallone. And then he did another movie with Bear Grant, and that was a movie called Slow Dancing in the Big City. That movie was with also, oh my God, really famous, I can't remember his name. I'm having a mental block. But anyway, I did.
It's okay. I get that sometimes too as well. But
I did commercials. I was up for Annie on Broadway. I was just too tall. But I started doing commercials. But I met Harry Belafonte because I was always an outgoing kid. And for me, I started getting into breakdancing. I was in a group called the Dynamic Breakers. And I literally went there to audition for the big breakdance contest. But after knowing that I wasn't really a big, like, I didn't really have the skills as a breakdancer, and I knew I wanted to sing. So I kind of entered the crew just to be in it because I wanted to audition for the movie. So I worked really hard, diligently to learn how to pop lock. And then after I learned how to do that.
Ooh, I saw that move just now.
We went and we auditioned for the movie, and we got a call back, but I didn't know Harry Belafonte was going to be at the callback. And I stayed after and said that I would like to help clean up because they were saying whoever is not staying for the cleanup has to leave. But I knew that Harry Belafonte was getting interviewed by Eyewitness News, and I went up to him because I was always a very outgoing person. And for me, when I want something, persistence is prevalence. I went up to him, I said, listen, I wrote a song for your movie. And I did it to Planet Patrol. I just took the beat and then I wrote lyrics to it, and I told him I would like to sing to him. So I met him, and then as I was waiting for him to finish doing an interview, I was in the Roxy Roller Rink and it was called 1018 as well. I was a cappella Love on a Two-Way Street, and there was a guy named David Pickett who was like, who's that? And I was like, that's me. And he's like, what a great voice you have. And I was like, thank you. I was like, I'm waiting for Mr. Belafonte because I want to sing in his movie. So he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna let him know you're still here. So he came downstairs, and then we talked, and I sang a little bit for Harry Belafonte, and right then and there he was so sweet, so like willing to give me a shot, because I guess he noticed my drive, but also I'm sure Harry Belafonte, obviously everybody starts a dream somewhere, and he believed in my, and he connected me with Art the Baker, and they set up a meeting, and I met Art the Baker, and I just right then and there just started being part of the Beat Street movie. I was writing songs for Lisa on a soundtrack the night, and then I did Vicious Beat, and then after that I got offered a record deal with Mirage Records, but it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for Harry Belafonte, and especially for a really important person in my life, which was a guy named Nelson Fast Forward Cruz. He's the one who took me to a major label, Atlantic Records, and it was a small label named Mirage, and they were affiliated.
Okay.
Mirage, and through Mirage I got Atlantic, but none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for Harry Belafonte giving me a shot in the movie.
No, he's great. And, you know, going into a little bit about him, he was responsible for the Banana Boat song. You know, day, oh, it's a day, it's a day.
I come and wanna go home.
Home, 6 foot. I mean, I was singing it before I even got on the interview. Like me and my partner Moshiko, who runs B Master Radio with me, he was like, "Get out of here, no way." He's like, "I remember that from the Beetlejuice movie." I'm like, "Yeah, man. You know, Harry Belafonte goes back. He is a discoverer. He's a, you know, multi-talented, you know, guy, you know, and a great man in the industry. And, you know, it's so awesome to have that one guy that brought you to discovering you and making you to the top. You know, that's the main thing about it, you know, and then especially going into your debut album, like, let's go into that. You know, I Want Your Love, you know, picking up the pieces. Art the Baker, speaking of him, being you were just mentioning him, you know, it was written by Art the Baker, Lottie Golden, you know, I mean, club sensational hit. I love it to this day. Everyone does. I know people still play in their freestyle mixes, and then it was also like a crossover, like R&B type, right?
Which one?
Picking Up the Pieces.
Oh yeah. Picking Up the Pieces did really, really well on the dance charts as well, and it played a lot on all the R&B stations. So for me, I had that type of versatility that I was still considered an R&B pop freestyle artist. So I still was able to be in all 3 genres, and for me, and many artists, that's not normal. Until now, a lot of artists get crossover to potential because you're able to have different mixes done. But when me, I initially had a production deal with Art the Baker, and Art the Baker actually let me out of that contract to pursue a major distribution deal with Mirage Atlantic, but he was able to produce the album. And we still to date end up being very, very good friends. And I didn't even realize that album was going to do, for me, I just really wanted to record and just be a singer. So I didn't expect the success to be as you know, rewarding as it was. So for me, I mean, I'm a young girl from the projects with a single mother of 7 siblings. So to be able to live a dream and tell my mom, listen, you don't have to work anymore. I have a record. I'm making money. I mean, I was making money at like 15 years old.
Awesome.
I put my sister through college. I put my brother through college. I bought my mom her first house when I was 18, and I was, you know, I came from nothing, and even if I didn't have a lot of money, my mom was always able to give me the best of everything. So to do that so young and give back to my mom, it was a gift. So for me, I'm always, you know, grateful that I was able to start off so young, and I'm still able to do it, and it's a blessing. There's a lot of artists that don't continue. Like I'm, you know, right now I'm 54 years old. So for me, it's like I say to myself, how much longer do I have to do this? But I look at Celia and
you don't look 54, I'll tell you that much. You know, you keep yourself looking young, keep looking fresh. I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, you know, you still got the energy, you still got the strength, and you know what, you just inspire me by how you just mentioned everything you just said about your family, taking care of everybody, sisters, your mother, everybody, because that's like the same way I would be. You know, like I'm trying to make myself, you know, as bigger as I can in radio today and DJing, and I'm going to do the same thing. Buy my mother a house of her dreams, you know, because she made me what I am today by inspiring me and giving me the heart and the drive to do what I'm doing. You know, especially father too, who was a songwriter as well. He was a songwriter back in the 80s. You know, he tried to get music out to many people, you know, so that's another conversation we can have another day about that, because, you know, he has some songs.
You think to yourself, you know, a lot of people that even today that want to be musicians and vocalists and producers, you know, like the one thing you have to say, if I ask, how can I make this work? How can I be a star? Then you're not meant to do it. You have to just have the drive. You have to continue to write. You have to continue to connect on social media. That is the biggest platform for all new upcoming singers, songwriters, producers, you know, anyone who wants to do something in the business, as well as, you know, being a, you know, an on-air personality, going in and doing internship. I mean, I've had my share of working at you know, at KTU as a fill-in. I've had shares of working at 102.7, Sirius XM, Rumbo 92. I had radio station gigs. So I've had it all, but only reason why I was able to do it was because I didn't ask, how can I get into it? I just always threw myself into it and found a way to navigate my way through the door. So my advice to people who want to get in the business is, don't ever feel like discouraged because you feel like I'm working, no one will recognize me. Continue to do what you do, and one day that door will open. Just don't give up. And that's the drive that I had. That's what I loved about my mom. Other parents would be like, no, go to school, be a lawyer, be a doctor, be a nurse, be a this. My mom was like, if you love music, put 100% into it. So at 13, my mom, for my 13th birthday, asked me, do you want a big party or do you want money? And I said, I want to go to the studio and I want to record a record. And she's like, you want to record a record? And I'm like, yeah, I want to do music in the studio. I want to know what it is to be in a recording studio. So for my 13th birthday, my mom paid for me to do my very first recording. So with that said, if it wasn't for my mom to put me in the studio, I would have never got the bug as bad as I did at 13. And then at 15, I got my first record deal.
There you go. All about the passion, all about just wanting to do it. You know,
Right.
and God bless you for what what you did from, you know, working at 13 years old, making yourself the star you are today. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I'm just feeling it in my heart as you just talked about. I'm serious. It's like people have to start thinking like that, especially in this generation today. And that's why, you know, your daughter, Gianna, I was going to speak about her in a little bit. You know, she is so lucky to have you as a mom because you brought her in the right direction. I mean, season 15, American Idol, top 10. I mean, she's amazing. I watched her videos just the other day and I was like, wow, like the way she did Alicia Keys, like that was amazing. Like she has the vocal range, everything. And that's all comes from work. And she learned from you. What you did as her age, you brought it into her, and she has the drive and passion to wanting to become a star, to want to become an artist, the artist she wants to be. So, you know, so I give a lot of kudos to Gianna too as well.
And I tell Gianna, I say, you know, it's a tough road. And like my mom said, you know, you want to do the music thing, you could do it 100%. And I always had something to fall back on. So I fell back on a music theory education. Berklee School of Music, I was offered a full scholarship. I didn't take it because I had a whole contract under my wing. So with Gianna, she was offered a full summer ride in Berklee, and she went to theory of music and she took pop music, and it kind of schooled her, and that's why she really loves doing this whole music thing. I've been teaching Gianna since she's 4 years old, voice. So that's also a vocal coach, and we have a mentorship program that we created. And because, like you mentioned before, getting back to my label, I have Star Records. I have Haley Gray on Star Records. I have myself on Star Records. Haley Gray is kind of like a Billie Eilish vibe. She writes songs. She's from Georgia. We do type of vocal lessons. We fly her in. She goes to studio time. She does writing, works with producers. We shoot her videos, and you know, we put the whole package and team together, put it into play. So my thing is, because I discovered Mariah at a very young age, I always said to myself that I wanted to open my own label so that I can take stars like Mariah and create that from the bottom up again, so that I can have not only my own label, but I can have the ability for the rest of my life to bring down and shut it down to my kids so that my kids can run the label. So Gianna is one of the artists that will be releasing some stuff off the label. And I never take it away from her if she wants to go to a major, but at least to give her the attention, undivided attention that she needs as an artist, because me, I eat, sleep, breathe, and dream music. So I know what an artist wants. An artist doesn't want a label that loves you just today, because there are labels that'll be in your corner, but then someone else comes along and you're forgotten. You're not the priority. So I want artists that I work with to feel like a priority. And that's the reason why I created Star Records.
That's awesome. And I'm so proud of you that you did it. And you know what? You're going to keep developing. You're going to keep getting more artists to come to you where you're going to, you're going to make them and create them into the artists they want to be and get them for the dream that they're looking for to do. And, it's such an amazing thing you're doing with that. And I wish you best with that. I'm going to support that. I'll support that for you. I'll get it out there. I'll let people know, hey, come and do on Star Records,
Anybody's interested in doing music, doing records, songwriting, producing, and they want to submit their music, they could always submit it to Starr, STARRPETRONE at yahoo.com. So that's starpatrone@yahoo.com. We accept material as long as there's artists looking to get involved in working on an EP, different producers, different songwriters. I mean, we all know that it's not very inexpensive to do music. You have studio time you have to pay for, you have to deal with videos. So what we really do is we're a one-stop shop. We work with the artist. And you have to have the potential. I can't turn around and take someone who can't sing and make them a singer. I can improve tools and I can help them with projection. I can help them with feeling confident, teaching them how to use their diaphragm, breathing exercises, teaching them how to songwrite, the business in general. Because it's not always a thought of an artist, I'm just gonna go up there and sing. No, you have to be a performer. You have to learn that it's important to be a songwriter as well as a singer, because that's where a lot of the money comes from. Songwriting is a very big, important piece of the puzzle. Songwriters get royalties for their songwriting. Vocalists, as a singer, of course, you make money through sound exchange, TuneCore. So what I do, sound royalties, what I do is I basically tell the kids that I work with kids from 7 years old. Gianna takes the younger kids. So she works with them from 7 to 18 or 19. I do 15 to 50 or 80, whatever, whoever wants to sing, but they have to have some potential. If you really are tone deaf, it's a tough one, because I've had a couple of those and I've been honest. I'm like, listen, you really have to work on your tones and making sure you stay in pitch. So I says, maybe practice that for a while and come back to me. But if I know that they don't have it, and this is not being disrespectful or, making someone feel that they're incompetent, I'm just keeping it real. I don't want you to spend your money on something if it's something that's not promising. And you always as an artist have to have something to fall back on. That's what I was getting at. For me, I fell back on theory of music. I've worked at senior citizens homes, working with patients that have dementia. The left side of the brain is what deals with the music sensory. Yeah. So I've and it helps them with their memory skills. And I've always given back. And I always teach the kids that I work with to do stuff for nonprofit organizations. So there's a lot of stuff that I do with the kids that I teach. And I always make it very clear to them, have something to fall back on, because it's super important.
Absolutely. Totally agree on that. Yeah, no, and a lot of artists have to have that today, especially if it's either in the music industry or anything that they want to get into, that's something of a hobby or something that they like on the side. But music is a big, big, big aspect. There's so much you can do in there. There's so many positions: producer, writer, singer. And then you're about the songwriting thing. I was very agreeing you on that, because I see a lot of artists that we affiliate with today who, I'll give you a perfect example. I don't know if you heard John Bellion. He's a big artist. And what's cool about the Monster, Eminem, Rihanna, he wrote that song. He wrote songs for Meghan Trainor. So that's what it is. He knew he can't just make it as just an artist singer. He's going to write his own music, but he's also going to write for others. And that's what made him bigger what he is today. So, Brenda, you are in the right direction, and you're bringing the right direction to others. That's the main thing about it. You're giving your heart to others, teaching them the way you were taught, and putting them in the right way, in the right path in their career as a singer, songwriter, whatever aspect they are in music. So I wanted to go into, basically you through the American music that you've done, I still believe, as working, Mariah Carey, backup singer, and then ended up covering the song for you.
Right.
I mean, Mariah Carey, obviously looks up to you. There's a perfect example. You brought her in the right direction, after, covering your song. I mean, how you saw the drive of Mariah Carey right from the start, probably, right?
Kind of. I mean, she's a couple of years younger than I am, but I just noticed that I was the kind of young girl growing up that my mom always taught me it was never right to be envious of anyone and to always be there and to always be humble. And it just really was something that she instilled at a very young age for me. And as soon as I met Mariah and she tried out as a background singer, we kind of clicked initially. I don't know. We would constantly have a lot of people say that we look like we're sisters. And
I
then
would say that.
we were always like the best of friends. And we would like just have a really cool connection. And then I knew she sang great when she was doing background. And I just always like, I don't know, one day I just saw her listening to her headphones, because we used to use the little cassette box with the,
yes.
it was like the Walkman. It's called the Walkman from
Walkman, right.
And I went up to her and I'm like, what are you listening to? She's like, oh, it's a couple songs I've been doing in the studio. I was like, can I hear? And then right then and there, I was just like, you know, you should really put a record out. She's like, oh, I've tried to get a deal, but no one wants to sign me or whatever. And I was like, I'll help you. So I had a really big party coming up with Jerry Greenberg with WTG Records. And there was Tommy, there was Arthur Baker, there was Jerry Greenberg, and I brought Mariah to the party with me instead of my mom. And I introduced Mariah to Tommy, and I gave him her cassette, and I said, you should really check my friend out. She's looking for a deal. And long story short, he ended up calling my manager, getting my number, calling me. I set up a meeting. They had the meeting. She got signed, and the rest is history. And, you know, it's a blessing to know that I'm part of one of the most amazing artists in the history of music, and that I bought that fight. And I'll never regret it. And a lot of people are like, oh, you should be bigger than what you are and this and that. But for me, I'm where God wants me to be right now. And I'm happy on that. And I don't put myself in a position where I'm like, why isn't it me? Why couldn't this be me? I've had an amazing life. I have amazing, beautiful children, 5 grandchildren. I have an amazing musical Latin and pop career. And I may not have as many fans as she has, but for me, I'm blessed in so many other ways that I'm still loving what I'm doing, and I still can have a legacy that my grandchildren, my children, and the whole world can look up to me and say, wow, not only was she Brenda K Starr, the singer with amazing music, but she's the woman who discovered the biggest talent in the world history of music.
Exactly. So that's what makes you famous. That's what keeps you in the fame, because you discovered these people, you got them to where they want to be, and they will never forget that. Mariah, you know, in the years still going, still, you know, doing music all these years, she is knowing that Brenda K Starr helped her get to where she wanted to be. And it's so funny that, you know, going back to what you said about the cassette tape Walkman, it's so crazy how years ago, how different it was compared to now. Now it's all through a YouTube video, a TikTok, you know, a social media platform where you put someone on Instagram and people right there, boom, discover you. It's like, it's so different now compared to back then, where you had to go to the parties, you had to, you know, physically meet the managers, meet the labels. And,
right.
You know,
and now watching everybody on social media. Like, that's where a lot of talent is being picked up. The numbers is a numbers game. If you have big numbers, they're running after you. Like me, I've never done TikTok. I started a TikTok maybe a week and a half ago. I have 24,000 followers, but I have 308,000 views on one. I have 170,000 views on another. And some of these are because I've had a lot of people say, you know, Brenda K Starr, you know, does she still sing like back in the day? And sometimes it makes me feel good to do acapellas, because it makes me feel like, you know, I'm still blessed to have, you know, the vocal cords that I had.
Yes.
And with having the social media come to light, there's so many people that get discovered because of this. So this is a great platform for everyone. So I highly recommend doing YouTube videos, doing Instagram. TikTok's the #1 right now. Get on TikTok, gain your fan bases, sing, even if it's not singing, if you're a comedian or if you're a cook, whatever you do and you feel your talent is a talent, that's a beautiful platform for you to really establish getting recognized and starting to collect numbers and followers, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about views. It's all about how many views people see your ads, what you do, how you do it. Just be creative, no matter what talent it is that you're in. You know, right. I told you, I made a TikTok video. I make a TikTok about maybe before pandemic happened, and I started to get into it. And that's the thing, that during pandemic, people got into it more because they have the time to do it. Even parents today are doing it. Like, they're doing it with their kids. I mean, you know, but just like into the artists, you know, of industry of music or any type of industry you're in, you know, just do it. Show your talent, put it out there. You never know who can find you in the end. Absolutely. Right. So, you know, and you know, basically, you know, you have a whole big background, you know, going into the you know, the Latino community, you know, Latino, you know, the Latin music, you know, industry, you know, Latin pop. I've seen that you've done Herida, which is a big hit you did from the singer Mariam Hernandez, you know, number 16 Latin pop charts, you know, basically, you know, big hit on that. I listened to it actually the other day and I was like very inspired by it. And I was like, wow, this sounds like more, it's like a mix, like a crossover a little bit, but it's got that good vibe. And, you know, I said to myself, I'm not listening to Selena anymore. I'm listening to Brenda K Starr, you know? So,
although I am a fan of Selena, I actually was supposed to have 2 songs on her album before she passed. So, I mean, may she rest in peace, but yeah. Could you hear my dogs in the background whining at all? Can you let me know?
No, I just like one time and everything, but it's okay. It's all good. I don't really get too long.
Now, because I have them in my room. I don't want them to be like, hold on, let me just let them out. I feel bad.
Go ahead. No, don't. Go ahead. Do your thing. We'll be back after these commercial breaks. Brenda K Starr. Okay. Oh, they're so cute. They're so adorable.
Yeah, they're boxers.
Aw.
Charlie.
Oh, wow. Wait, what is it, brother and sister?
No, husband and wife.
No, really?
Yeah, two different kennels. I got them both from breeders, and one stud, and then she was from another breeder, and then they had 2 litters, but that was it because I had her spaded. Yeah. I don't want them to pass quick, so I just did it because my kids wanted dogs. And
the dogs are a wonderful thing to have. You know, they're like children. You know, like
so funny. The funny part is I've never seen a dog like attach, and they would look like they were backwards. And I called my husband. I'm like, "There's something going on with the dogs in the backyard. They're stuck together." And he's like, "They're mating. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. How do I separate them?" He goes, "You got to throw water or something." But when I went towards them, they had already separated, and she ended up being pregnant for the first time, and then the second time, surprise. But after that, I was like, no, I don't want to mate them anymore. So I've had them.
Yeah, I think you're perfect where you have them right now and everything. And you know, I'm sure they, you know, you're treating them. You're like a mother to them. You know, they basically you raise them, you take care of them, and you do the right thing. And they inside they have that passion and drive just like you do. I see they're very full of energy. They're all over the place, and they have a wonderful house now. I see here, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. God bless you on every aspect of it. So basically, when you got into the into the Latin side, Latin music, how did it feel for you? I mean, basically, I know that you basically had to rejuvenate your career, basically reinventing yourself, salsa, tropical, Latin pop. Now in this day and age, you could cross over anything. But how was that for you? Getting turning the page, going into that aspect, into that demographic.
That was something that I honestly didn't expect to happen. My mother was constantly pushing me to move into the Latin industry and do something for my culture. And for me, I was kind of like, Mom, I'm not fluent in Spanish. I would love to, but I can't do it. And she's like, Mark Anthony doesn't know Spanish as much. You should try it. And then I was just like, no, I don't know. But then after losing my deal with Epic Records, I was signed from Tommy. And then I ended up getting dropped from Tommy. And after getting dropped, it kind of felt like every door I was going to on the English industry just wasn't really, I didn't feel like it worked for me. And it was just heaven sent that I went to Madame in Cannes, and I went as a songwriter. And I ran into a friend who knew me years ago, and I couldn't even remember him from where I knew him. But he's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm promoting my English music. I'm a songwriter. He's like, why aren't you singing? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been still trying to find where I want to go with my music. It's been tough. He's like, why don't you do Spanish? And I'm like, because I'm not fluent in Spanish. He goes, but you're saying I still believe in Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, I know. He goes, why don't you meet me in an hour? No, meet me later. I said, well, I'm done in an hour. He goes, okay, meet me at this booth, because they were all numbered booths. And my uncle's there. He's out here promoting his new Latin label. Maybe, let me see what he can do for you. So I went, I met him, and I sang I Still Believe in Spanish. And he took my number. And ironically, when we came back to the States, he ended up calling me, and he lived 12 minutes from where I lived.
No way. Wow. That how convenient was that, right?
Yeah. Then we had a meeting, and my mom came to the meeting, and he's like, listen, I love your voice. I said, but I don't know Spanish fluently, and I don't know if I could sign a contract. I'd be letting you down. He's like, I'll take care of Spanish. And my mother's like, I'll teach her. I'll work with her. So I also had my mom help me with Spanish. I started working with Humberto Ramirez, who was the producer. And every time we had to record, I had the lyrics written in Spanish. And for me to do the pronunciation, I would write it out in phonetic spelling. I actually did this with the thought of, hey, you know, if it works, it works. I didn't even expect it to take off the way it did. And then the first single came out, Herida, and it hit top 20. And then from there, everything just exploded. And that's where I realized I need to really focus on my heritage, learn the language, be able to defend myself on interviews. And I just started consistently studying. And a lot of people, young kids, well, even adults now say, oh, why do I need to know another language? It's so important to be bilingual, trilingual. I know English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So for me, I always tell my kids it's important to learn another language because you'll be able to sing in that language or speak and defend yourself in that language. But I didn't expect it to take off. Went top 20. I got signed to Sony, and Sony signed Oscar Lord was the president of the company. I did a duet with Tito Nieves and Victor Manuel, which was a song called Por Ese Hombre. And that was another big hit, #1 overseas in several countries, in Colombia, in Venezuela. Hold on, are you there? There you go.
Oh, I'm there.
In Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, so even Peru. So I was in all these overseas countries like this big superstar. So I just started focusing on the Spanish. So I expect it to take off? No, I was really doing it as a form of survival. But after I got in there and started singing and realizing how good the production and everything was sounding, I was like, maybe this is what I should be trying now. Maybe this is something for me. And I ended up loving it. And I never stopped. And now, you know, working on a new Latin album, and then my very first English record in many years coming out now. So I'm excited.
No, I'm very excited about it too. I mean, you know, going back to how you did not expect to be big with the Latin community. I mean, Latin industry, 4 Grammy Awards. I mean, that's amazing.
I won 1 Grammy, and now I just resent in all my paperwork to be nominated for 2021 for the new production that I'm working on now.
Awesome. That's great. Coming out April 27th. You know, we're very excited for the new single, I Miss You.
Yes.
You know, it's definitely. Can you give us a little bit of a backstory of it? How you got into writing the song?
Well, I Miss You is actually a cover from the 80s group Climax, and it was a ballad. And I just always really loved that song. But I had a brother that passed away it'll be about 8 years already. And honestly, it just really reminds me of him, and it resonates with me. And one night I was home, and I was just shuffling through some songs, and I just listened to it, and I just kind of felt like I was reminiscing his memory. And then I said, I want to redo this song. So I called a friend of mine. He's a producer. His name is Gomi. And he took the song. I said, I want you to do a dance mix. And then I called my friend Bernie Stevenson, and he's a producer. And I had Bernie do a ballad mix. So the first one I cut was the ballad. And then I ended up cutting the dance mix. And it's funny because when I was cutting the vocal for it, I was in a room, and there was one window on the side. And I remember as I was singing, there was a ray of sunlight just coming in. And it was almost like a light. When when you just look in the gates of heaven, it opens a bright light.
Yes, absolutely.
Even when I talk about it, I get chills. I felt my brother's energy. And I remember singing, I Miss You. And I remember just bawling while I was crying.
Wow.
While I was it. And I think I took it 3 times. I did the background, I did the lead maybe twice, and we only went over it maybe 3-4 times the most, finished the vocal in less than an hour. maybe an hour and a half, everything was done.
See, your
And
brother gave you the inspiration. He had the light on you. He knew it was meant to be. It's meant to happen. And yeah, no, I was gonna say the song itself, like it had that old school vibe. It had that '80s vibe that like I knew once you said the climax. I was like, okay, now I see where you took that sample from. But it's great. It's amazing. I love how it has that old school style, that old school sound, and because old school sound before with that type of music, ballads, romance. That was the best sound. And look, look at Bruno Mars, for example.
I was just gonna say that you see, people ask me when they heard it, they're like, I feel like the production is great, but I feel like, and this is not egotistically speaking, I think that your voice is more powerful for that. You should do something different with the track. And I'm like, no, I want that old school feel. And as God is my witness, it was before Leave the Door Open, Bruno Mars and the group did their song. And for me, I love that it's so old school, and I want to keep it like that. I didn't want to change. So I'm leaving the production the way it is. I'm not changing anything. And for me, if you're an old school music lover, then you'll appreciate this, and there's a lot of young kids that hear it now that are like, oh my God, I love that song. That, my kids' friends come over. My kids are all, 21 and above, and their friends listen. They're like, yo, your mom's song is fire, and it's good because for me, I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing out there because they're doing it. I wanted to do what felt comfortable for me. So after releasing or preparing the record, I Miss You, and Bruno Mars, the group putting out Leave the Door Open. Is it Leave the Door Open? That's the name of the song?
It's Leave the Door Open, yeah.
I said to myself, that was just a sign that old school music is coming back, that vibe.
Yeah, it is.
Was doing the right thing, and I am still doing the right thing. So God willing, I hope it'll be as successful.
I think it is, because a lot of the music that we work with, a lot of labels, people that we affiliate with our new music every single week, basically they're bringing 80s. It's retro. It's all retro. I listened to a new song from I think it's from Warner Records. The guy came out straight out of like Rick Astley. The whole video was like Rick Astley, the suit, this hairstyle, everything. I'm like, that's like Rick Astley reinvented. And I'm like, this is what works. People love this vibe. When I play those songs all the time, like Leave the Door Open, like people go like, wow, this is like a song from like back in the funk days, because people appreciated that music. Today's music, it's a little weird. It's a little bit like, I appreciate, in a way, but sometimes I say like, you gotta leave that old school style because you're gonna have everybody into it, and even the younger generation so into it too, because they never experienced that sound before. And now it's like they hear it now, they're like, wow, this thing's fire. I like this like vibe, because that's the music that invented today's music.
The spitters, all that stuff, the spitters, the OJs. But for me, I think it gives the younger generation an opportunity to hear different vibes, because I think there's so many people out in the industry right now trying to clone the same vibe. And for me, I love originality, and to take an old school song, bring it back, but still make it fresh, but not overproduce it, and keep it so that everybody can be like, oh my God, this reminds me of when I was growing up. So that's why, and I decided to do that. And I'm super excited about it. I honestly put this song up as one of my favorites of all my recordings.
No, really, I listened to it actually just yesterday, and I was like, so it hit my heart. I loved it. I was like, wow, just the sound, the vibe, the lyrics on it, everything is perfect on it. I can't wait to see Brenda K Starr doing this on the stage, performing that song in front of 1,000 people. We're going to get to that point. I'm hoping by next year we could do a Beatmaster Radio concert, and have you as one of the headliners. I promise you that. Amen on that one, definitely. Yeah, and you're doing such a great thing for female artists today. You're bringing the good influence to all the women out there, especially, and it makes them inspiring to know, like, hey, if she could do it, I can do it. Anyone could do it.
Anyone can do it. What you have to do is have the drive, the persistence, and be able to have thick skin, because this business is not easy. And remember that you're as good as your last hit. You have tons of friends that are with you when you're up at the top, but when you're struggling, everybody doesn't know you. So for me, that's where it comes into play, that I love having my family, because I have a great fan base. There's tons of people in the industry, but the industry is a difficult business to be in, because like I said, you're as good as your last hit. So for me, I really just focus on making great music. It's not about, oh, how famous can I get? It's about doing what I love and hoping that it can reach everyone in a different way. I Miss You is an appropriate song for our time because we dealt with COVID, we dealt with losing family members, we dealt with having you know, people in our family losing their lives to COVID. So I Miss You is a track where you're gonna be able to let it resonate, like, you know, this song reminds me of this person, and I dedicate this song to my boyfriend that I broke up with, or my loved one that I lost.
Exactly.
And it just really touches your soul, and that's what I wanted to do. And just like I said, when the light shine through the window is where I really felt the
Inspiration.
where I just felt the inspiration of my brother just telling me sing, because my brother paid for all my singing lessons, all my stage clothes. My brother was the one that pushed me just as much as my mom, even maybe more. He was my biggest fan. He was more to me like a father than he was my brother. My dad was Harvey K in the Spiral Staircase. He sang the song, I love you more today.
Yes, okay. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, and my dad toured so much that he wasn't in my life the way I wanted him to be. So I always felt like my mom was a single mother, and my older brother would fill that void for me. He would take me to the park. He would take me to go fly birds with him on the top of a rooftop. He taught me so much. He loved the way I sang. He always inspired me. So it was so appropriate for me to do this song. When hearing it, it came right to mind, and it just worked so perfect that when I recorded this song, I knew it was be for him. And I feel like I gave him my all. And I think with God's blessings, it'll do amazing, maybe just as amazing as I still believe. And I hope, because it's independent, I'm doing it. Yeah, major labels have the financial resources to make it happen. But as an artist that is a soloist, who's an independent artist, I think it'll give me a chance for my public to support my music and help get it for one, and call all those major radio stations, those independent online stations, because as you know, it doesn't only take major radio stations to break a record. It takes all the internet DJs. It takes everybody as a tribe to come together, and hopefully fans, they'll request it, they'll keep pushing it, you guys will keep playing it, and take it to #1. So for me, I did what I thought was right, and I felt that this song can be a #1 record, and that's why I wanted to record it.
And we will world premiere it. We will do it on all the hits. We're gonna do it on our other mix shows. I'm gonna get on every mix show that we have, because we have 10 main solid DJs, different genres of music. I'll set, that's what the whole concept of what we did. We wanted to go to all demographics, because, we're located in Brooklyn, New York. So studios in Brooklyn, come on, we got to represent it, man. Brooklyn people are so supportive of you. They're so loving of you. And they always dig your music from the beginning to the end. So, we're going to world premiere. Once you debuted it on Tuesday, 27th, we're going to premiere it on Wednesday, the 28th.
I wanted it to come out sooner, but because of all the logistics and the licensing, it took longer than I thought it would. We've already shot the music video. We have Sir Oliver doing the EDM house mix.
Yeah.
We have DJ Gomi doing the regular dance mix, which is amazing. The pop dance mix, I love it. And then we have the Bernie Stevenson ballad mix. And we were waiting on a mix from DJ Riddler. So I don't know when that's gonna come or if it's still coming, but I know we have one more mix coming from overseas. And it's gonna be on a 418 Star Records distributed by Universal. So we'll see.
I can't wait, excited. And you can get those remixes to us, we'll play the remixes. I'll play the original because I do all the hits. I do all the top 100, Billboard top 40 hits. And we have our DJs. We'll put the remixes on the mix shows, and I'll put a nice talk break for you, voiceover and everything. Getting, hey, this is Brenda K Starr. This is my new single, I Miss You, and it's going to be a hit. And especially perfect going into for spring into summertime. People are going to love it. They're going to cruise in the car and they're going to say, Brenda K Starr cruising it up with the sun visor, everything. Yeah. Absolutely. But Brenda, it's been such a pleasure having you with us. Not for nothing, all the interviews, artists are great. but yours was inspiring today. I'm going to say that. And for people who are going to be watching this, they're going to be like inspired with their soul, their heart, trained. And people who are looking to make it in music, this is, I think, going to be the most inspirational, interview they're going to watch. And they're going to go, this is what I have to do. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go call Brenda. I'm going to go get her, get me in the studio. That's it.
One last thing, whoever is interested in working on our mentorship program, putting their kids in vocal lessons, we do Skype, we do Zoom, we do in live lessons, I've done camps for kids with music, and we've rented out a location. The kids come and we do music all day, from songwriting to recording to performing, etc. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Follow my social media. I'm official Brenda K Starr on Instagram. I'm Brenda K Starr on Facebook. On TikTok, it's Brenda K Starr. And also follow Official Star Record. Thank you so much. And I would be nothing without you and all my fans. And thank you so much. It's Beatport, right? I thank you guys so much. And I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. It doesn't always take just the artist to make it, everything, and your music to break it. So without your love and support, I would not be able to have this amazing interview and share my gift and share all my information about what's going on with my career. So thank you for this huge opportunity. I'm grateful and indebted for totally all of your help and support. Appreciate it.
It's our pleasure, Brenda, as well. And thank you for taking the time to come in and do this with us. And, give a shout out to Chris as well. He is not only just a, person that, deals with the industry. He's a friend now. He's a best friend of mine, keep touch. Brenda, I look so forward to seeing you physically down the line. We will keep touch. We have each other on social, so I'll definitely keep touching and everything.
A message, Chris. Anything you guys need, you need any drops, just hit me up. You have an amazing, amazing weekend. God bless.
Yes.
And to everyone in, stay tuned, because all the great music is going to be right here on Beat.
It's coming. Now, just before you go, one time, I just want you to say, hi, this is Brenda K Starr, and you're tuned in with me now on BeatmasterRadio.com. Can you do that?
Radio, not
BeatmasterRadio.com. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Hey, this is Brenda K Starr. Stay tuned for my interview on Beatmaster Radio.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Brenda.
BeatmasterRadio.com.
Yeah, you want to do the .com? Let's try one more time. We'll do it. Ready? I'm going to say the .com. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and go.
Hey, it's your girl, Brenda K Starr. Make sure you check out my interview on BeatmasterRadio.com. Stay tuned.
I love it. That was perfect. Second time. It wasn't the third time was a charm. It was the second time we got it. Brenda.
Face. Let's make sure we can zoom that out. Look at that.
Oh, I didn't even. You know what's funny? I didn't even notice that the whole time. I swear.
I'm glad you did.
Oh my God. All right, Brenda. Thank you so much for the time, and I love that picture of you. You looks like you're. That's why your name's Star. You are a star with the R, the extra R. All right. All right. Kisses, much love, and stay safe. And I'll be in touch with you. And the new single will be out on the 28th.
Thank you, my love. God bless.
God bless you too. Bye, honey.
Bye, baby.
Want to go to the store real quick?